until something happens, can we get the garden back? Can somebody start planting, put some plants back? And
Are you volunteering to plant
everybody was
weed?
there. I'm saying everybody was there. We had it.
We had it before.
We had it all before. We had the whole group, but
Oh,
everybody's still around.
And if it was a vegetable garden and a fruit garden, we at least have some produce.
yeah. I don't know, Mr. Hurley, but I think if you wanna, you know, if we could send the city back out, the people who, you know, we just put some shavings that came off of Portage Path, which just kill the weeds. We could dig that back up, and you wanna dig and plant and weed and water. The only problem is last time you had a garden, you actually wanted service department to bring the topsoil out and then have service department people like grade it and then shovel it.
Me and my daughters went out there and planted bulbs, and everybody was out there.
That would be
you know,
awesome. Because
yeah,
I
it was
know that
great. They added
if
the sign and
we
everything.
do have any operating money, I think the idea of hiring 400 policemen would probably be better than gardeners, but, I don't know, that's gonna be a question for council. I certainly wouldn't have an objection to it. The other hand is, how would your daughters feel if they planted a bunch of bulbs and you got a grocery operator? And
Well,
we
then
dig up all the bulbs.
Dig them all up and get that grocery.
Okay,
I'll-
because if I have some
They'll get
kid
over it.
crying because
They'll
they
get
just
over it.
planted sunflower seeds, you know, that would really be
I have a question
disastrous.
for you. Did we check into IGA?
Yes. They're not interested.
When you had these discussions with Freshway, what kind of annual revenue was necessary in order to make it economically a business venture for them?
Well,
Do you have some feel for that?
yeah, we do. I think we have a fairly good feel for that. When we put the studies together back in 2007, we discussed revenue numbers with Freshway and kind of collaborated on what we thought potential was in the area with Freshway, with some of their advisors. So the way we did the study, we had a low, middle, and a high
Well,
revenue projection.
You know, I read that co-op, starting a co-op document, and basically, you get 1,000 families, and that's, you know, pretty easy to get, I think, right here in Highland Square, within a half-mile radius of Highland Square, 1,000 families, to commit to spending $100 a month, which is pretty low, I would think, for a normal family. My wife and I added up all our Acme receipts over the last 3 months, and, you know, we typically spend $350, $400 a month. So $100 a month per family is a fairly nominal figure. 1,000 families, $100 a month. That's 1.2 million a year. Now, is that kind of revenue enough to?
I don't think you're gonna make it on 1.2 million a year.
Okay.
That's,
But I would like to get some idea, some ballpark figure of what's it gonna cost, or what's it gonna take to make a business viable in that location, you know?
and you want that idea as a potential grocery operator? You're looking for that information
I
as a
think
somebody-
that's what you gotta go with. You gotta say, look, you know, we did the market study, we think that this can generate $2.5 million in revenue. I mean, we're just talking now, those numbers are just from the members only. So then you have non-members who will probably be paying a small premium to shop there. And, you know, they could easily build on that. But I'm just talking some very rough ballpark number, what's it gonna take? You know, $2.5 million in revenue?
In terms of revenue? Well, I think there's a lot of factors that go into a feasibility study. You
Okay.
can't just
Right.
name a top
But
line.
you've done some of those feasibility studies?
We did a financial projection in conjunction with Freshway Markets, and there's been some other studies that have been done in terms of assessing the overall market demand in the Highland Square area.
Okay.
And those are important inputs into, you know, a decision to start up a business, but
Is that information available if a group of us got together and really started to work on, say, a co-op plan?
yeah, I think that we would share that information with you definitely, but that's not the end all be all. The group itself has to feel comfortable and you need to put the effort into determining the market's feasibility for a co-op. That's not something that you look to an
Well, yeah, I
outside group to
understand.
determine.
Right, no.
And if you look at you read the How to Start a Co-op
Yeah.
that you can download on the internet. It's How to Start a Co-op. I'm sure if you Google it, you can read it.
Mhm.
It talks about the process that you typically go through to start a co-op store. I mean, it isn't just something that you can conceptualize this month and then open 2 or 3 months from now. They talk about it being a 2-year
That's right, 2-year cycle.
process.
Right,
So it's a serious study,
yeah.
and there's a lot of input that goes into it, and we can certainly
Well, we
input as
get,
much
just
into
get a
the
show of
equation as
hands
we
of
can.
people in this room right now, if they would be willing to make that kind of a commitment. If there's a co-op, would they spend a minimum of $100 or $200, you know? Just a show of hands, see what the interest level
I have
is.
somebody shaking their head back here, and
Huh?
you say you need 1,000 families.
Yes.
And hey, I'm all for a co-op. Don't get me wrong. Like we can have a show of hands here if you want, but that's not.
Has the
That's
Kent
not
co-op been approached? The co-op that's been in Kent forever, they been approached to see if they would be interested in?
Yeah, this Tom Winter.
He was
Yeah.
just there today.
I was in the Kent Co-op today. I've been involved with in organizing and starting co-ops for 30 years.
Yeah.
And in all this time, I'm sorry, it's very naive. Like it says, 2 years minimum, and it can fall apart in a minute. You talked about like different, even entrepreneurs, going in and sharing, it's, and would you use it would be kind of a madhouse, all the different people that are making.
Very chaotic.
Chaotic, thank you. Co-ops start small, they can grow to a certain point, but I don't think a co-op could meet the needs of this community for just many, many reasons.
Co-op hired an operator, because the thing that I've seen that with, as you talk about the chaos of a co-op, I mean, the idea of, willing citizens coming together with a good heart to create a grocery store is a great warm and fuzzy feeling, but I think you also need to have that one expert that knows how to run the thing and keep going, because a co-op just sounds like a club. I mean, if you've ever been involved in any kind of club or organization, there's always like 5 or 6 people who do all the work.
Right.
And you run into them at the next club you go to that you're on some committee for. And then there's like the other 120 people who think, this is great, I love this club. But so I think that, to give it longevity and sustainability, you'd end up having to be able as a club to, raise enough funds and have the thing have enough commitment that you have to end up hiring an expert, who knows how to run a grocery store and who dedicates, their working life to doing that instead of you doing it when you come home from work. Well, I'll put in 5 hours at the co-op today. I mean, it's owning a business is a big deal and it's a lot of work.